Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We would like to call this CRA meeting for the month of December, last one of the year, to order. We have the Dr. Bishop Scott here to give us the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, he's, I had the pleasure of serving, if I may, Madam Chairman,
Yes,
with
of course.
Bishop Scott when he was chairman here, was a council member and chairman. He was also a county commissioner and chairman of the county commission. He also served as very ably at the airport authority and the sports authority, among many other things. And he's a wonderful individual. He's a caretaking individual who helps the people. And I'd like to welcome Bishop Scott for the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and to this council. It's always my privilege and honor to be able to come and ask God's blessing upon our meeting. And I applaud you for always inviting the clergy to come and share with you and invite the presence of God. The word tells us if you acknowledge him in all that you do, that he will give direction to your path. So I thank you today for this opportunity. Father, we're so grateful as we come in your divine presence this morning. What a great day this is to be able to come in this chamber and to say thank you to you on this great day. A day of opportunity, the day of being a blessing, a day to be able to change lives and make our community better for all of its citizens. And we say thank you for the opportunity that we have. I know there are challenges, but we're so grateful that in the midst of challenges, we can find opportunities to brighten our day, make our path better, make life better for somebody somewhere in our city. Thank you for this august body of elected officials who have been elected to serve and make decisions for us in this community. Give them wisdom and knowledge and insight as they deliberate together to make decisions for this community that are safe and sound and prosperous. Bless them today. Bless the mayor and her administration. Bless our nation, a nation that believes in justice and equality for all citizens. And now we leave it all in your hand today. And may, when this day is over, we can look back and thank you for the opportunities and the blessings and your grace upon us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It happens every New Year, every Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Carlson. Here. Hurtak. Here. Clendenin. Maniscalco. Here. Vieira. Miranda.
Here.
Henderson.
Present.
We have a physical quorum.
Thank you. Board Member Clendenin will not be here today, and Board Member Vieira is on his way. So can I get an adoption, a motion for the minutes,
Second.
please? Thank you. All those in favor to
Aye.
adopt the minutes? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Mr. McCray, our interim director, come forward. Let's set the agenda for this morning's meeting. I do know that we want to pull 3 and 4 for discussion at the request of Board Member Vieira for staff reports.
Yes, ma'am. Everything else will go as written in the agenda.
Okay. Well, we'll be out of here by 10 o'clock if everybody just.
There's an AM and a PM, tell me which one.
Okay, and our new board member attorney is on the call virtually, so he is present, and we will start with public comment. Oh, yeah, no, let's do this. We already got to approve the agenda, thank you. Since there was no changes, I just flashed through it.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Second? From Maniscalco, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we can start with public comment.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
do you want me to read the public comment rules? I wasn't sure whether that's something you always do or don't always do.
the public is pretty well behaved, so we'll just go, it's December. Let's just move forward. Thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Stephanie Pointer. You know, in the city of Tampa, we have a lot of needs. Our number one need, as far as I'm concerned, is safety and security, and it should be for the citizens. You know, we need generators for pumping stations. We need to harden our infrastructure, flooding mitigation for the future, both long-term and short-term, particularly stormwater and wastewater. Those are needs. We need those things. But we have a want, and it's coming. It's come up in the past, and it's gonna be before you again, I think next month. It's a $26 million vanity project that does nothing to cure slum and blight, which they're gonna ask the CRA board to approve $10 million out of the West Tampa CRA's funds. $26 million vanity project that goes against the current comp plan, as I've given to you and I've provided here. The comp plan says on page 248 that we are limiting the amount and type of public infrastructure investments in the coastal high hazard. That goes against the comprehensive plan. That West Riverwalk violates that. The $26 million vanity project that, in my humble opinion, violates Chapter 163, Section 370 of the Florida Code dealing with comprehensive plans. And I only highlighted the first word because I think this is the worst sentence on the face of the earth. It's only one sentence. And I bet you I had to read it 30 times to understand what it said and talk to a couple different friends to agree with me on what it says. And basically what it says is if the city or the government was going to do this, whether or not they got the CRA money, that the CRA shouldn't be paying for it. That's pretty much what it says. You can boil it down, but when this comes before you as a CRA board, I would turn it down. That $10 million needs to be spent on slum and blight. It needs to be spent on affordable housing. It needs to be spent making the folks in West Tampa safe and secure. And the rest of the $26 million in the general fund needs to be spent on infrastructure. It needs to be spent on hardening our city against further flooding, against what happened to these folks. People have PTSD from their homes being flooded, and yet we're going to pay $26 million of our tax dollars for a pretty place to go for a walk? That makes no sense. We don't need any more vanity projects. We need our citizens to be safe and secure in their homes. And thank you.
Good morning.
Morning. Some historian said, Connie Burton, a historian said that well-behaved women rarely make history. So I want to say that I am not well-behaved. There's a lot of things, and of course the agenda is very short this morning, and it's disappointing because of the ongoing needs in East Tampa. I don't know how many times we have to continue to articulate it, I guess, until, the sunset of this body, that the constant demands coming out of the East Tampa CRA to do genuine rehabilitation on homes out there from residents that have paid their debt to society. They have been waiting. East Tampa CRA, the first in the state of Florida. And seemed to me you would be celebrating, working so hard to make it match to that, the first, but still have the most blight. Very disappointing. Secondly, right now, the Democratic Party is in trouble. And I only say it because I'm a Democrat and I know all of you all are. But we've just seen what recently happened here in Hillsborough County by trying to elect someone that didn't want to be the chair of the party, has now jumped rank. On the national level, Democratic black leaderships is telling Joe Biden he better do something if he want to hold on to the base that has been loyal to the party. I only come to articulate that same message to you. That if you all think that you can continue to just give us hope without any measures of progress and opportunity, hopefully it will just end your careers, your political careers. We need to see meaningful advancement of our people. We need to see meaningful advancement of people that has been loyal to the party. So when we talk about real rehabilitation in our community, we should be able to see it. When we talk about youth opportunities, we should be able to see it. When we talk about economic entrepreneurial opportunity, we should be able to measure it. You have had well over 20 plus years to make East Tampa that shiny, bright part of this city, and for now, it's a failure. Thank you.
Uhuru, Mentiz not mean anything's possible. Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. We say we as African people should always be thinking about our freedom. And right now, we as African people should be thinking about the freedom of R. Kelly and P. Diddy. And we need to call for them to free R. Kelly and P. Diddy. And we should never allow white people to play us in a way whereas they characterize African men as just so horrific and so horrifying. It's like hundreds of years they've been doing that. 824 years. This characterization of African men, this stereotypical belief that African men are like monsters. It's not deserving of anything. African women are sexualized, African kids are sexualized and humiliated. And we're supposed to be, you know, all the way from biblical identification of African people. We came from Ham, we came from evil, we came from sin, all this nonsense. And you see when an African man stand up and speak out against a situation, what they do to him, if it's Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or the next person, Kwame Nkrumah, whosoever it may be. But what I like to speak today of is how they treat African people. I want this city council to look into a situation I personally experienced over at the Hillsborough County Process Service Office right down the street here, where a nasty white woman, her name is Miss Taylor, a stinking nasty white woman, called the police on me because I asked her name. In her official capacity of an employee of Hillsborough County. Ma'am, what's your name? I'm not telling you. Ma'am, you're not gonna tell me your name? Do you want me to get a deputy to escort you out of here? Do you want to get out of here? This woman actually went and got a deputy to have me escorted out the building. Little to her surprise, as soon as she walked through the door, apparently the deputy told her, hey, ma'am, you're a public servant. You have to give the guy your name. Oh, my name is Miss Taylor. Just as nasty as ever. And after the conversation ensued, an inquiry that information I'm trying to solicit from their office, off of their form, she's like, well, why are you talking so loud? Another characterization of an African man, like if I'm trying to threaten her or something. Yeah, that need to stop. And that's what the embodiment in this city council, when I say it's a do-nothing city council, that's you see that reflection of how African people are characterized throughout this city and what happened to our neighborhoods and our community. That need to stop. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning, friends and community. My name is Hope Donnelly. I am the owner of the Rialto Theater in Tampa Heights on the historic North Franklin Business District, otherwise known or referenced to as the Yellow Brick Road. On October 3rd, the Downtown Partnership and City of Tampa collectively held a meeting that was a casual business gathering for these great improvements that were coming to our area. And at that meeting, we were informed that parking meters were being installed in less than 30 days. We had already seen Hurricane Helene hit, and just a week later, we would have Hurricane Milton come through our area. And we pleaded that not only was the community rebuilding, but our businesses were rebuilding, and our small profit margins were going to be hurt significantly by this improvement. We were told that it would not be pushed back, even 30 days, even 6 months. We asked for time to come up with a plan and solutions for our business owners, our long-term employees, our customers that need parking for up to 8 hours. For example, for the woodwork shop there, where they come in for a whole day and they need 8 hours of parking. And there were no solutions given. We have emailed mayor's office and you all. We have met collectively. We have met individually with parking officials. And although some minor adjustments have been made, no real solutions have been formed. And once again, the Yellow Brick Road has been told that our problems do not have a big enough voice, and they are not going to offer any changes or real solutions. I have requested that a parking study be conducted, because I do not believe one was ever done prior to this installation, and that parking meters be removed until an appropriate parking study can be conducted and disclosed to the businesses and the public to see that there is actually a need in our area, which we do not believe there is. I have offered solutions such as 2-hour free parking, similar to the Riverwalk, and they said that that is going away. I have requested to register tags with the city of Tampa for residential and employee parking, and they said that is going away in Channelside and other surrounding areas, but that is not public knowledge, and I need it to be. I have requested a number of compromises and ideas, but have been told the code simply does not exist and will not exist until a larger development comes in and makes it so. I will also mention that I am the only housed resident along the Yellow Brick Road. I need safe parking options for myself and my children 24 hours a day, and have been told that there is not a single solution for my situation. So I'm asking to amplify my voice, to amplify the businesses' voice of the small businesses in our area that made the Yellow Brick Road so special. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Donnelly. Any other public comments? Seeing none? Okay, we are closing public comment. Thank you. Mr. McCray.
Good morning again, Cedric McCray, interim CRA director. At this point, for item number 1, I would like to call up Ms. Mary Beth Williams. She is the vice chair of the downtown CAC and will be providing this month's update. Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. McRae. Good morning, CRA board members. My name is Mary Beth Williams. I am the executive director of Friends of the Riverwalk and the vice chair for the downtown CRA CAC. I'm here today to provide a report for the downtown CRA. This report is divided into categories that align with the goals and the objectives of the CRA. The downtown CRA is currently funding, the following initiatives in support of connectivity and infrastructure. Currently, wayfinding signage and neighborhood branding identity in the urban core will be replaced and enhanced. They are in the design, $10.9 million. $150,000 has been allocated for the Riverwalk expansion study at the Beneficial Bridge. The Channel District CRA is funding the other $150,000. The study is underway and meeting with stakeholders currently. Franklin Street Action Plan received the $6 million CRA funding approval in November, and CRA staff is meeting with the Downtown Partnership in December to discuss next steps. The streetcar extension and modernization project CRA funding assistance was approved, and $5 million will go to mobility. The public-private partnership for public realm infrastructure, including Water Street and the Gasworks development improvements, are also being funded by the Downtown CRA. The Downtown CRA is presently funding the following initiatives in support of economic development: We have received 5 applications for grants, including exterior grants, interior grants, pre-development grants, and special project grants. 4 pre-application meetings have occurred and are on track. The Community Redevelopment Plan update will be presented by Kittleson at the January 2025 CRA board meeting. The Downtown CRA has committed funding to enhance cultural and historic institutions in the Downtown CRA and includes the following institutions: the Straz Center for Performing Arts, the Tampa Theater, Tampa Union Station, and the Tampa Museum of Art. The Downtown CRA is presently funding improvements to the following parks and gathering spaces in the Downtown CRA to enhance the quality of life: the Herman Massey Park, the Kid Mason Community Center, as well as annual payments for the Tampa Convention Center renovations. The Downtown CRA encourages community engagement in the following ways: through Downtown CRP updates, the regularly scheduled advisory meetings, as well as access to all CAC agendas and meeting recordings on the Tampa CRA YouTube page. This concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me. Thank you for your time and your service.
Good morning again, Cedric McCray, interim Tampa CRA director. Moving on to the director's report. I believe you all have received the project update, and the other component of the director's report is that we wanted to take a moment to acknowledge some of the CAC members that have rolled off in the last 1.5 to 2 years. Felt compelled to make sure that we at least honor and recognize some of the folks that have spent a lot of time in various meetings. And I can speak to East Tampa more specifically, but there's a lot of time that is spent away from whatever their business is and or family to make recommendations to this body and to move things forward across all the CRAs that we oversee within the city of Tampa. So at this point in time, I'm going to call up a few folks, and thank you, Ms. Thrower. She's assisting me this morning, and I'm going to call up the folks from Tampa Heights, and that would be Mr. Chris Ahern, Mr. Fred Henry, I know he's here, and Michael Nusetta. What's your?
Oh, was that one? Thank you, sir. I don't think they're here today.
Okay.
Yeah. They were going to be here, though. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
And I'm just going to call them all up, if
Okay.
that's okay.
Sure.
And for downtown, it would be Daniel Trott. All right. And we have several faces from East Tampa that I saw. Miss Cynthia Donnell. Come on up, Miss Donnell. Ms. Attorney Clinton Paris. And Miss Connie Burton, who we've heard from. And Miss Rhonda Billups did not make it. She just texted me a few moments ago. Natasha Goodley, and then there should be one for Miss Denise Matei James. I saw Miss James here as well. That's good. For Ybor City, I have Mr. Damon Shiver and Mr. Peter Wright. Y'all can scoot up a little bit. Scoot up a little bit. And at this time, members of the CRA board, if you'd like to say a few words just to acknowledge their time and efforts for some 2 years, for some 4 years, serving on our CACs for the Tampa CRAs.
Board Member Hurtak, followed by Board Member Maniscalco.
And I do want to say thank you. This is a lot of work. I come from volunteering on a board, and it is selfless. You're doing it, and you're taking time from your family, from your business, but you're making your community a better place. And I really appreciate every voice and every moment and all the time that you've spent. All of it has been worthwhile, and I hope you've seen some movement in your community, and I know that the great thing about it is I know you'll stay involved. None of you are going to walk away. You may not be on the board, but you will be paying attention. And I think that's very important. And you're also helping the new folks who get on the board. So we're just creating a large group of people who not only care about their community, but are more knowledgeable about their community, and then can share that with others. And so I want to thank you so much. Your service is probably one of the most important that a community can have.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone here and not here, because it's a pretty long list. Thank you for all the time that you've put into this. You all care about this community. You love this community. You want to see improvement in this community. You've certainly done that. I think our community is better because of all the people here, all the people that have been involved. Again, you're not paid for this. It's a lot of time, as was mentioned, away from your family, away from other things, because you care. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Board Member Miranda,
Thank you, Madam
followed
Chair.
by-
Again, I want to say it's very difficult to be an elected official, much more difficult to be a volunteer. And let me just say this. And why do I say that? It's easy to find a vacant plot of land where there was nothing there and built on it with a plan that you come out with. What you're doing is reconstructing something that's already there and changing it to the standards of today's livability so everybody can have a quality of life. In essence, yeah, there's some buildings that are for business, and rightly so, and you have to have some economic value so people can have a job and make money to support themselves. But it's basically about where and how are you going to make it through life today when a lot of us are not making it through life today. And your responsibility has not gone without notice. You stood fast, you've done what you think is best for your area, and that's why it's been successful. Some areas are up ahead of others, but that doesn't mean you won't catch up. And when you hear things like, I want to get rid of the CRA, well, that's fine. However, what's not fine is that in 8 years or 9 years, some areas of town, that CRA is going to what? Cease. You're going to have mostly all new buildings with a high volume of money. No matter where you're at, it's going to be better than what it was before. If the house was worth $10,000, the house was worth $250,000, $300,000, $500,000. So the tax base is going to be higher. So the citizens of the city of Tampa who do not have a CRA are going to reap the benefits of what your hard work was also. Because that money goes directly into what? The city's budget, not the CRAs. So therefore, the spread of money would be greater. And that responsibility for the next 50 years will not need new water lines and exit lines and things of nature that we have to replace every so often. Because the hard work of all of you, it's already done. And the value of that is that in some areas, and hopefully in all of them, when it rains, that water is recollected and feeds the underground area of the system, so you don't have to have everything, sprinklers and everything else going off. So these are the things that I look forward to the next people that bring up, the next ones that are volunteering again. And those are the things that hardly the public that wants to say thank you, they just don't have the opportunity to tell you thank you. But all of us know what it is to say thank you to each and every one of you. Congratulations for serving.
Cedric, whoever came up with this idea, I don't remember that we did this before. It's a good idea to thank everybody and all the folks who aren't here as well. As my colleagues have said, you all have put in hours and hours and hours over the last few years, and we really appreciate it. The reason why these meetings are relatively short is because you all put in lots of hours listening to the community, discussing with each other. You have your own points of view, but you know it's not easy when you have a committee that you're talking through, trying to build consensus, and then you have the folks from the community. What you've learned and what your experience, through your experience, you've become very valuable to our community, so I hope you'll stay in touch. You can talk to any of us anytime, call us, email us, If you have an idea, if you think something's going the wrong way or the right way, let us know. We want to hear from the community all the time. The last thing is that you in some ways have more power now than you did a couple weeks ago when you were on the committee. And the reason why is because now you're not restricted by sunshine and public records law. As long as the lawyers tell you you're actually done. So now, assuming the lawyers say it's okay, you can talk to each other, you can talk to yours, and you can't carry messages between board members, but you can talk to the other board members and figure out what happened, what worked and what didn't. And you can give us feedback, you can give other folks feedback, and you can help us figure out how to make all of this better. The one great thing about the CRAs is that we are able to really deeply listen to the public, and we appreciate everything you did. Thank you.
Board Member Vieira.
Thank you, Madam. I just wanted to thank you all for all of your service and all your work and everything. And there's a lot of different backgrounds there, from community activists, lawyers, builders, public servants already. And y'all obviously don't get paid a dime for this, and you do it because you care deeply about your community. And we just, appreciate this. And for Mr. McCray, a very nice gesture that is very warranted. So thank you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Is Dr. Bishop Thomas Scott still here?
No,
he's not. He left. One of my first meetings with him, he talked about, the development of CRAs and East Tampa being the first, and how hard fought that battle was to even get it established, especially the East Tampa space, and it being the largest CRA in the state of Florida. And so I know that just even from a historical standpoint, an enormous amount of work going behind, the development of CRAs. And I just want to thank you, because I know that sometimes people, see the end result of the beautification. Having lived in a CRA my entire adult life, it was slum and blight when I got there. And so it's so beautiful now and improved, and that's the result of CRAs. So I know CRA dollars, and I know that work shines a light on communities, some faster than others, but we can't do anything without it. So I'm just greatly appreciative of all of you who have volunteered your time and energy and love for your community, believing in what the possibilities of greatness looks like, and working toward that on a regular basis. Even sometimes if we, disagree, it is still good to connect and to hear from the public regarding their views and opinions. And you all are the top folks in place speaking out for your community to do what's best for them. So I greatly appreciate that. If we could just, since it's such a small group, if you all would like to take a picture with us, I think that would be really nice. And we could present that to the Florida Central and maybe the Tampa Tribune and La Gaceta, to let them see that we are acknowledging you all for your service. So thank you.
May I say one thing, please?
Yes, of course.
My name is Denise Matei James, and
you can step up to the podium. Ms. James.
My devotion to my community shows, because I think as a matter of fact, I know I'm the oldest, not in age, but member of the committee. I've been on the CAC committee since its inception in 2003. I served as the Aesthetics and Beautification Committee for over 13 years, over 15 years actually. And I put on the first, and for 13 years, tree lighting successful event in East Tampa to raise something positive that goes on in East Tampa instead of all the negativity that we always hear. So we had a very successful tree lighting event for well over 13 years. And that was the only positive thing that went on at that time of year in East Tampa. So I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad the community decided to reinvest in it by voting and continue to fund it, because it is something that's very much needed. And being born and raised in that area, I can see the difference. Lots of people don't think there's a lot being done, but having been there from the beginning and where it is now, I can see a drastic change and difference in the changes that have been made positively. There's still a lot of work to be done, a lot of work. But I think if we continue to have people on the committee, like those of us who serve, then we will move towards more progress, and that's what Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. James, and thank you for telling me about it when I met you at the painting of the street that day. I remember that conversation. Okay, so let's get this photo. Y'all can, you want to come, yeah, come up here. Or you want to go down there? It's not a lot of them.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever.
Yeah, let's come up here, because this is a better background with the Christmas spirit. We had more people for the CRA Awards. Darlene, you should go way further. Yeah. Come on.
With that red on.
Get on up front. I love your hair. Are you serious? That's my best friend. Of 50 years.
I want y'all to be in the, and I'll just be right here, I'll be behind here. Y'all get over there.
Just, if we turn sideways, we have more room. Thank you. Thank you again for your
Thank you, Mr. McCray, for that.
Thank you.
Okay. My pleasure. I'm gonna fist bump. Yeah, I'm a little icky.
Darlene, connect the names for the, I know the Florida Sentinel, yeah, connect the names from left to right. Oh, yeah. Darlene? So connect all the names and then add the ones who are not present so we can include that in the article that we present.
As soon as I said it.
Mr. McCray?
Mr. McCray, I know it might take a minute, but is it okay if you just read the whole list so people
Yes.
hear their
No, we have
names?
City council, we have suffering.
Yes, so related to the Tampa Heights CAC, it was Chris Ahern, Tina Alowen, we have Fred Henry, Michael Musetta, Justin Rickey, Jeffrey Warren, and Kareem Young. For Central Park, we had Danielle Joyce. Downtown, we had Ryan Bogan, Kim Puello, or Pulio, and Daniel Trigot. For Channel side, it was Michael Leeds, Andy Scaglione, and Kimberly Curtis. Drew Park, we had Randy Forrester. For East Tampa, Cynthia Donnell, Attorney Clinton Paris, Connie Burton, Rhonda Billups, Natasha Goodley, Dr. Grace Glenn, Cynthia Few, Noreen Copeland Miller, and Ms. Denise Matei James. For Ybor City, we had Damon Shriver, Crystal Lastra, Peter Wright, Liz Welch, and T. Ann Bailey. And for West Tampa was Walter Smith II and Mr. Benjamin Heem Baisden.
Thank you for that, Mr. McCray. Appreciate it.
We appreciate each of those individuals for their service to their respective CACs.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, my pleasure. Okay, moving on to item number 3. I know that it was requested that that be pulled for discussion, and it was related to the report on the wheelchair accessibility playgrounds equipment for Waterworks Park and Curtis Hickson Waterfront Park.
Yes, Board Member Vieira.
Thank you very much. And Mr. McCray, we spoke about this a few days ago. I was in Missouri for 2 days. I got back last night at 10:30 or something, and I was able to, look at this while I was there. I have a question, and I know the answer to this, but these two parks, can a person with a wheelchair access them? Like there's sidewalk and whatnot, correct?
Yes, it is my understanding, yes, that is the
Okay,
case.
great. Yeah, so what I would like to do is, sir, is to go out there with a parks person, a CRA person, and Raquel Pancho to take a look at this, because a couple of things. The Tampa Museum of Art's expansion, which I know we funded in two buckets, so to speak, how long is that gonna take, roughly?
That I don't have the exact timeline on that.
I would imagine a while, right? Several years. We'll probably be out of office, I would imagine. So, yeah, so what I would like to do is to have this item continued to, let's say, March of next year.
Okay.
And I've already emailed my assistant to have us go out there, because potentially we don't have to include something. Maybe we can replace something. Like I remember, I haven't been to Curtis Hickson Park out in the play area in a while. I used to take my son there a lot, 12, 13 years ago. But I know there were, there's certain playground equipment that could be potentially replaced for something that is also wheelchair accessible. So I would hate to continue this. Again, these two parks, and I obviously you know this, I'm just saying this for my rationale, these are like landmark City of Tampa parks. And for us to say we're not gonna have any disability accessible equipment, I gotta, call me, what is it, St. Thomas, you gotta see it, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that's what I wanna do. So if I may, council, I want a motion to continue this item until March of 2025.
Second.
Is there a second? All
Second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, and the next up was item 4 related to veterans housing.
Oh, may I?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much.
It's your motion.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for this, sir. So I appreciate this. So council, what I want to do is, I think this is something that's very important, and Mr. McCray and the staff, excuse me, have worked very hard on this, including talking to the community members, et cetera. And we're talking about, different variations of this. So what I would like to do is, because this memo reflects that you're going to continue to work on this and look at this issue, et cetera, is that we continue, or strike that, I guess, continue, whatever you want to call it, this item to have it, let's say, to have an update on this to June of 2025, if I may, council.
Second.
And what I would ask staff to do is to, if any of y'all know Commander Eunice Butts, who lives here in Ybor City, who's a wonderful woman with American Legion Post 167 in East Tampa, she's taken a very big interest in this potential project. So what I would ask is that our CRA staff, and I can be glad to be there, meet with Commander Butts on this particular project, and that she be asked to be here if she can, and if she can't, I'll get a different date, in June of 2025 for this. So that's my motion, and thank you for that, sir.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Maniscalco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, council. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Moving along.
And the next was item number 5 related to the arts, public arts position. And you all have been provided with the updated job description. And I will gladly take any questions that you all may have.
This is Board Member Carlson's motion. You have anything you want to say about it, Board Member Carlson? And anyone else?
No, the idea here is that the arts person should be located in the office of the CRA staff and report to the CRA executive director, and that's what we've accomplished now, right?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. McCray.
Yes, ma'am. Going on to item number 6.
Required approvals.
Excuse me.
Is there any discussion on any of the approvals, or do we have an motion? Yes. Board Member Hurtak.
I just wanted to mention with number 8, where we're spending $3 million to basically buy a block The only thing, they just included the map because there was no map included, so I just asked for that because I thought it's very impressive that we were basically able to buy a block.
Yeah.
It's very exciting, so I just want to say congratulations to Ms. Thrower and her work with this, and I really look forward to the development that's going to come from it. And I just wanted to, again, say thank you for the map, because when you look at it, if you have one to put up on the screen, it's a
big chunk.
It's a big chunk, and so I just, it's impressive, and I just think the public needs to see it, and I just want to say thank you again for the work.
Absolutely. Board Member Maniscalco.
Yeah, and just to echo that, this is in the heart of the city. Howard and Armenia, I use those daily. That's a significant chunk of real estate, considering the prices of land. A lot in West Tampa, an empty lot.
T&I, can you please put it up for the public?
Could be $200,000 for a little single-family lot. So getting control of this land and what we can build on it in regards to housing,
Yes.
I think is a worthy investment.
Yeah, it's the proximity between downtown and,
Yeah.
going west.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, Board Member Miranda, don't you have something to say about West Tampa?
Muchísimas gracias, señora.
That's right.
But
That's right.
I want to say, this is what the CRE really is a lot about. A lot, not everything, but housing that people are affordable. And that area there, that block has been somewhere between going bad to worse for a long period of time because of business. A corner lot was a gas station that closed down years ago. Then it was something selling other things that closed down. And the whole area between Howard and Armenia, minus one lot in the corner of Armenia and Cypress, that's a dental office, I believe. And across from that, you got the old cigar factory, and then you got the family cater service, which has done fantastic there. And then after that, you got another drive-in gas station, kind of a 7-Eleven type store. And it's going to change the whole appearance of not only the people who are going to live there, the hope that they can continue to do better in life, that it's going to help the whole area because it's something vibrant, something new, something that I spoke about earlier, and it would be there for the next 40, 50, 100 years. So I want to commend you and your staff and the people involved, and I don't know how many units are going to fit there, but I'm sure it'd be somewhat nice to be there.
Yes, and as we move forward, we will have some community engagement sessions, part of our updated restructuring policies to have conversations with the community about the potential and what they'd like to see there and what can be done there based on the current zonings and things of that nature. And, we look forward to moving forward with that process.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just so add that it's a great corridor. So close to Interstate 275. And at a great price. Needless to say, I asked about that yesterday, so congratulations. I look forward to the community engagement on this particular plot of land to see what magnificent opportunity will come out of it.
Yes, and this board has asked us to continue to remain aggressive to assemble properties, and I want to say thank you to real estate also. Specifically Mr. John Fernandez, as well as Ms. Van Loan, because we are in constant communication about the possibilities, not only in West Tampa, but East Tampa and throughout all the CRAs. So we're going to continue to look for opportunities to assemble property.
Yeah. Our next step actually is faster implementation would be great. That's the goal coming out of all of these acquired properties. So thank you so much for that. Can I get a motion to move the required approvals?
Second.
Second by Board Member Maniscalco. I heard his first. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now we have new business, starting with Board Member Miranda.
No, the new business in my mind is continue what you're doing best to make the communities better every day of your life. And once you do that, everything will get better.
Yep.
So I want to thank you and again, all the board members that had served with you for a long period of time and those that are coming on for continuing to work so hard to make the city better than what it was when they arrived.
Amen.
Board Member Vieira.
Yes, ma'am. One quick one, if I may, and I spoke to Mr. McCray about this at our call earlier this week. So, and it's duplicative in a way of what we're doing in the city. So I had requested that the city of Tampa, and I know the administration is putting something together, I believe, to assist with people, particularly with uninsured losses, who have suffered devastating losses after Helene, and especially after Milton. And so I'm motioning to direct CRA staff to look at the feasibility of assisting homeowners within existing CRA programs to the extent so applicable, because I know a lot of the hurricane damage occurred, a great deal of it occurred outside of CRAs, but some of it occurred inside, and some of it you have people who could be moving inside the CRA. So again, to the extent so applicable, even if this ultimately takes up 5% of what the city will do on this from a monetary perspective, it still is something that we should do, because again, we should put forth every ounce that we have to helping people. So that's my motion, and I can have it when is good if this passes.
Second for review of.
Like at least March, 90 days.
March is fine. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any discussion on that? We have a motion and a second by Board Member Miranda. All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you, council. That's it.
Motion carries. Board Member Maniscalco.
Nothing, ma'am.
Board Member Hurtak.
Yes, and this is, I talked to interim Manager McCray about this, Director McCray. This is actually his request. Motion requesting discussion on the Tampa CRA housing subsidy framework for future housing development within all the CRA districts and the overall alignment with the City of Tampa Housing and Community Development Department for January 6, 2025.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Board, you have another one?
Yes.
go ahead.
I want to thank the IT department for their new closed captioning. It's much easier to read, so that means I'm sure they've done something new, so congratulations to them. And then I want to take a moment of personal thing, because we're going to be going late tonight and I don't want to bother people then. But I want to say happy anniversary to my husband. Today is our 12th wedding anniversary of getting married on 12/12/12. So
Congratulations.
it's a fun little alliteration number. So
Congratulations
just
on
wanted to
love.
publicly honor my husband.
Love wins. Board Member Carlson, are you in love? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You what? I missed it.
Say yes for the sake of whatever.
Congrats, Tim. I wanted to bring up the idea of the executive director. In the previous searches, we've been given 2 or 3 finalists for us to interview. We've individually interviewed them, and I just want to make sure that that process is the same here. And I want to compliment also Mr. McCray for doing a great job after the whole infrastructure left. You and the team have carried forward and really not missed a beat. There's a little bit less than before, but you guys are continuing to move forward. So I appreciate the consistency and the forward motion on everything. But I would just like to make a motion for city staff to have the CRA board individually interview the finalist candidates.
Is there a second? Okay, discussion. I have something to say about this. Go ahead. Board Member Hurtak.
I'm just curious. I think we have to I think we have to create the. So yes, I agree with you, but I think that's after we have to write the. And unfortunately, Board Member Clendenin isn't here, but he's the one that was able to get our budget analyst done. Yeah. So yes, I agree with you, but I do believe we also need to write I want to say scope of work, but I know that's not right. So.
Yeah, that's so great. Yeah. We're on the same page today because it's just really interesting, especially with the executive director position that was filled last week and approved. The responsibility is actually ours. The CRA board decides, just like we did for the city attorney, our CRA attorney, but we were only given one option. And so I started thinking about that and saying to myself that it's actually our responsibility, although I appreciate the staff for doing what they do. But a couple of weeks back, I actually asked for the applications and was made to feel like, that wasn't my lane. And then I thought about it. I'm like, no, it actually is our lane because we decide and we need to be responsible for this particular CRA director position and take full responsibility of it. So staff, thank you for what you've done. But I do believe that it's not them present. I want everything. I want to know who applied, how you selected the top applicants that you can present to us, or however you score them, and then we take it over from there. It should be all of our responsibility. And so I do agree with it, but more in detail of not just them giving us the top, give us everything for full transparency.
Yeah, and we have a process that we've run before.
Right.
And so we can follow that process, but probably you were given the same information, but the information I was given is that an ad has been posted, there were 3 applicants, and now those are being shortlisted, and we might get just one response. And I agree with you. This is not a city position. Where the mayor is presenting somebody to us. This is a CRA board position. And keep in mind that we have an outsource agreement to the city. We choose to outsource our service to the city, but we don't have to. But we use the city's HR process. But we need to make sure that we maintain control of it.
Yeah, that's what's.
And responsibility. The reason why we need to maintain control is because if something goes wrong with the CRA, unless we allow the administration to run the process, we have 100% responsibility. So if something goes wrong, it's our fault.
Yeah, I agree. And that person reports to us, so, and works for the board, so I agree with that. Anyone else on this end? So, I see our executive administrator online. Would you like to say something, Ms. Feely?
Good morning, Chairwoman. Yes, if I may, I am fully committed to following the practices that the board has used in the past. We did bring the job description a few months back, and it was approved by the board, and it did go out for posting, and we did receive, I believe, and I don't want to misquote, but I believe about 20 applications, but pursuant to the HR qualification process, 3 of those were qualified, and I did conduct interviews this week. I do intend, I believe, Chairwoman, that I have time to speak with you tomorrow, and I did intend to discuss with you where we are in that process and when we would be bringing those back to the board and how you all would like that to be handled. If you'd like to have that discussion now, we can have that, but it's my intention to set that up with you and follow that process. And I'm in full agreement with everything you have all just said and in getting you that information. So if it's the desire of the board to have, I will need to speak with Kelly Austin on, if we bring the whole 20 or how that package would be. I haven't seen the whole 20. I have only seen the 3 that qualified pursuant to that HR review process. So I'm here to assist in that way. It's my intention to get you a permanent director that you all have an opportunity to meet with and interview as well, so we can get that process set up and I can bring that to you.
No, and I appreciate that. You have put in some work, and we actually appreciate that. But I think what I'm hearing up here is that we want to take that off of your hands in light of last week. From 50 applicants where you ended up at the top and no one else was presented to us, that was the mayor's choice, and I supported that, and that's fine. This is a CRA position, and so we're going to take it from here, is I think what you're hearing. So I know you've done some work, but we want to see all 20 applications, and we want to see what HR has done to put the 3 people at the top and everyone else. We just want to be full transparent. So thank you for talking to them, but we're going to take it from here is what I'm hearing up here. Is that what I'm hearing? Anyone else want to speak on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll say I'm uncomfortable that someone from the city of Tampa spoke to these people before the CRA board did.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the responsibility of the city of Tampa. It is the responsibility
Correct.
of the CRA board.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about what was said at those meetings.
Yeah, and
because that person will never report to anyone in the city. Mm-hmm. They report to us.
Yeah.
So we're getting too much help from the city on an issue that we don't need help on.
Exactly. Because that's what happened with even our CRE attorney, who actually, great qualifications, but he was the only person presented to us. Yep. And that is something that I want to just avoid that. Based on even public comment last week, you could hear from the public last week, they did not like that, even though there was full support from a lot of people from one side of the room, but not, the public was actually questioning us about how did this process happen without full transparency, and it just wasn't quite clear. So this is our opportunity, especially as a, first year board member, come into my second year, to even take on the full responsibility of what actually is in our control, and this position is in our control, and we will be the deciding factor and not staff. So, any other discussion? Board Member Miranda.
I just want to ease the tension a little bit, not that there's any tension at all. But please fact check what I'm going to say and check it, actually what happened in the mid-'70s. The CRAs were created anywhere for this area when we started talking about it. Mayor Poe was the mayor, and Henry Williams was the city attorney. And Henry Williams, and I hope you can verify this in the records of the archives. And it was brought up to Mayor Poe whether he wanted to put the CRA under the city or under the council. Mayor Poe said definitely under the council. And that's how it's ever been the same way. So that's all I'm going to say. Thank you all very much, and God bless you.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just finish on that, and I have two others.
So we need to vote on that.
I will withdraw my motion and let you make a motion on this.
Okay.
And then, because yours might be more comprehensive, but it sounds like we're on the same page, we've given direction. I just want to remind everybody, just as you've stated, the outsource agreement that we have between the CRA and the city says clearly that the executive director reports to the CRA board with a dotted line to the mayor for administrative purposes only. And when this has not been followed, it's led to some conflict. And an example, and this is why this is sensitive, and the item earlier on the day was about the arts position.
Yeah.
We asked for an arts position, and the next that I heard about it, there was an ad that was circulating in the arts community where people were under the belief, based on the ad, that that the arts position was going to work for the public art department of the city, not for the CRA. And that was circulating widely in the arts community. I found out from the arts community. So I called Erica, who was our CRA executive director, who presumably would have been in charge of hiring this position, and she didn't know about the ad. And she checked with HR, and it turns out that HR placed the ad without getting her input, and they put the position underneath a city position without her input. And so then she had to negotiate with them for months to try to get this position back. And somebody was hired to do this, and that person's been going back and forth between the city and the CRA for months. I finally had to talk to the chief of staff to resolve it, and Ms. Feely also helped. But it shouldn't have taken 6 or 8 months to resolve a position that clearly, per the agreement, is a CRA position. And it's illegal for the CRA to fund city positions. We should never have had that. Erica should never have had to go back and forth on that. It should have been clearly a position that reported to the executive director. So I just want to make sure as we go forward. Another thing related to that is housing. We have a new office space. What's it, on the second floor over at the building the mayor's in? And the space has been newly renovated. It was vacated before. There's plenty of space there. Erica worked on this really hard for, I think, several months. There's plenty of space for all the CRA staff to be in one place before they were split in different places. I think it was Nicole's idea to consolidate them, and Erica worked on it. There's no reason why all the CRA staff should not be there. And so I would like to make a motion to have to ensure that all CRA staff are primarily housed in the location where the CRA executive director is.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The last thing is that, just to add on, when was your housing thing coming back? January?
Yes.
I would just like to add on a motion to go with that one, that would ask, B. Parks has been working on she's got a deep history in housing. She's been talking to a lot of experts. She's gotten lots of data, and so she's got the beginning of a matrix.
That's what's coming. That's what it's about.
Okay, because there are two different things. There's alignment with the city, which I have some concerns about, because I think, And then there's also the matrix, but could I just modify yours and add the word matrix?
Sure, we can add the word matrix, but I know, in speaking, because we received the matrix, I received the matrix
Okay.
after our meeting, so yes, that was meant to be part of it, but I can modify the motion to include, would it be better if I rescinded my other motion and made it again? Would that be easier? Okay, well, can you give it back to me?
Councilwoman Hurtak.
Yeah, okay. So I rescind my motion. Can I get a second for rescinding my? Okay.
Board Member Miranda, second. All those in favor?
Aye. Okay, so I make a motion requesting the discussion on the Tampa CRA housing subsidy framework for future housing development within all the CRA districts and the overall alignment with the city of Tampa. Future housing development within all the CRA districts, including the matrix that Ms. Parks developed, and the overall alignment with the City of Tampa Housing and Community Development Department for January 16th, 2025.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Any more?
One last thing on the housing thing. I think we need to be aligned with what the city's doing, so we're not replicating anything, but we have to decide at that meeting.
Yes.
If the city is doing, I don't know how many, but let's say the city's doing 100 things, do we do 10? And then also, I think a question for our attorney, not today, but for that discussion, is there a particular legal role for the CRA, or within the legal role, can we set a subset? My feeling, and I use the Army-Navy spot as an example, we're providing land, which is just maybe a third of the land going into that project. I think on housing projects that the CRA's role is to create grants, put the grant criteria out there, review applications, issue grants, and then track the project to make sure that they're complying with the grant, but not to actually build projects. It's not our role to project manage projects coming out of the ground. In that case, if the city wants to be the developer, the city can do that, but all we're doing is providing a grant. The same as if CDC did it, or Habitat, or whomever. And the good thing about the matrix is that if we have a set price, somebody building one house a year, or somebody building 100 houses a year, or somebody building 1,000 will all get the same amount of money per unit. It'll all be fair. So those are just some ideas I wanted all of us to think about, since we can't talk outside of these
Right.
meetings, so we can think about until the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Can I be recognized? Thank you. So I have a motion here to provide this, for the Human Resource Department to provide and Ms. Feely to provide the CRA Board with the applicant information for the CRA Director position, as well as their matrix for top choices to the board, for us to decide on the process as well as the final decision, as well as, for Ms. Feely to formally inform the people that she did speak to let them know that we're going to be taking over from here. What date is this? Well, since it's probably, February would be good, or January, actually. Can we get it in January?
They already have all the
They
stuff.
already have the
They
stuff,
should
so
be
we-
able to get it
so
to us
get-
by the end of the year.
Yeah, so before December 31st, for us to have the information, and it's on the agenda for January.
Do we have a motion by Chairwoman Henderson, a second by Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else, Madam?
No, that's it. Okay, we have a motion to receive and file. All those in favor? Okay, this meeting is, I'm sorry. We cannot adjourn this meeting. I'm sorry. Mr. Randolph did register to speak during public comment, and we did not provide him with that opportunity. Can I have a motion to reopen? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, Mr. Randolph, our apologies. Are you online? Is he there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Mr. Randolph.
Thank you so much for accommodating me today. I
Of
really
course.
appreciate it. I definitely want to give a shout out to the city clerk. She made sure I got on to speak my piece. So what I want to talk about today is an upcoming meeting with the West Tampa CDC. The meeting is called Artificial Intelligence, ChatGPT in the Web3. The meeting is going to be given on this Thursday at 7 p.m. It's going to be online. For more information about that meeting, please email me at westtampacdc@gmail.com. That meeting is going to talk about what is artificial intelligence and how does it differ from ChatGPT. We're going to talk about the key difference between those two. It's going to talk about in depth the different levels of artificial intelligence. Did you know it was 10 levels to artificial intelligence? It's also going to talk about how artificial intelligence can help you in your daily life. You're going to be impressed about this particular meeting. Then we're going to talk about what is ChatGPT. And then we're going to talk about finally, what is the Web 3? The Web 3 is changing the whole narrative when it comes to the internet. Thanks again for giving me an opportunity to share this information. I appreciate it. Y'all make me feel so important. Thanks again.
Thank you for your service to the community, Mr. Randolph. Motion to receive and file? All those in favor? Okay, motion carries. Meeting adjourned.